Namaste and welcome everybody to the Pride 2020, Pride Cymru 2020 online yoga sessions. So today we're going to be doing some yoga for children, but this isn't just for children, the whole family can join in. My name is Simon. I'm a British Wheel of Yoga, level 4 diploma yoga teacher. And today the theme is going to be animals. So let's start off straight away by just sitting in a nice cross-legged position, nice and easy, a nice easy pose, this is called, and rolling the shoulders back and down, lifting up through the spine, closing the eyes. Imagine you've got a golden thread coming out from the crown of your head, and it's just lifting the spine up toward the sky above you. And we're closing our eyes and just focusing our attention around our nostrils where we breathe, and we're breathing through our nose. Just listening to our breath, tuning into our body and listening to what our body's telling us. Our body gives us these messages all the time, and we're just listening to what it's saying. And then we're going to bring the hands together in something called Anjali Mudra in front of the chest, which is a prayer position in front of the chest. And we'll take 3 Oms together. So Omming is making the Om sound. And we're going to take 3 of those together. If you don't want to do this, please don't feel as though you have to. Just enjoy the vibration. So taking a nice deep in-breath. Om. 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 Okay, and then opening the eyes, and let's start our practice. So right away, the first animal on the list is a bee, because when we have that sound and we're making that Om sound, it sounds just like a bee buzzing around. Okay, first off, let's go into something called deer pose. Now, I'm going to use a little block to sit on. You can use a block yourself to sit on, or a pillow to sit on, or you can sit directly on the mat. Okay. And we start off in deer pose with our legs out in front. So let's give them a little shake off. Keeping that right leg nice and straight. We're lifting the left leg, bring the sole of the left foot onto the mat in front of us. And then we take that left foot and just cross it over the right. Okay, then our right arm, we take it all the way behind. Open up through that shoulder, taking it behind, and we're just using those fingertips to gently rest on. Keep the back nice and long. Remember that golden thread coming out of the crown of the head. And then we take our left arm over that left knee, and we're turning toward our right, opening through the chest. And then just like a deer, this is why it's one of the reasons why it's called deer pose. Just like a deer, we're turning our head to the right. Just like that alert deer would in the woods. So whenever we're doing a practice of yoga, we're always being mindful, always taking care not to push ourselves beyond our limits, always working with our range of our body movements, what we are able to do. Keep those shoulders rolled back and down. We don't want to cause ourselves any injury when we're doing yoga. So always, always, always working with what we feel capable of doing today. Okay, and then we've done one side. We have to do the other side as well. So I'm just going to turn around for this. So we're always looking as well to keep balance in our practice. So give those legs a little shake off again. And this time we bring the sole of the right foot in toward the body, and then we're taking that right foot, plant it over on the mat on the left side. Then that left arm opens up, goes behind to help us stay nice and upright. And that right arm goes on the inside of that right leg. And then we can turn the head toward the left. So now we're balancing up both sides, making sure that we do equal amount of practice on both sides. So there's lots of different animal poses in yoga. And this is the first one we're doing today, deer pose. And this is something that can be done by the whole family, not just for children, mums and dads, uncles and aunts, brothers and sisters, grandparents, anybody can join it. Okay, and then we gently come back to center, release that right leg, give those legs a bit of a shake off again, give those feet a bit of a wiggle. Lovely. Next, we go into our next pose, and this is two animals put into one. So our next pose is called cat-cow pose. Okay, and we move through a range of movements, which when we do one fully, we look like a cat, and the other one's like a cat. So we come over onto our hands and knees, spread those fingers nice and wide. Think of starfish. Think of having starfish fingers and those suction pads that starfish have underneath them. If you've ever been to the beach and you've seen a starfish, spread your fingers really wide. And that's our firm base into our mats. Knees are underneath the hips. Head is in alignment with the spine, so we've got a nice flat back. And as we inhale, keeping those shoulders over the wrists, as we inhale, we open through the front of the chest. Take a nice deep inhalation. Allow that breathing in to open the ribs up, open through the front of the spine. And then as we exhale, we're going forward into a little forward bend, drawing our belly button as far back toward the back of our spine as we possibly can. And now we're opening through the back of the spine. Inhaling. We're into cow pose. Exhaling. Cat pose. Drawing that belly button as far back as you can. Making that rounded back just like a cat. Keep those starfish fingers spread nice and wide. Working with the breath. So the breath leads us through our yoga practice and leads us from cow pose, and then as we breathe out, leads us into our cat pose. Okay, and then we come back to a flat back and we take child's pose. So we take the knees nice and wide, bring the big toes together, take the arms out in front, and we just come down, bring our forehead down onto the mats, and allow that nice lengthening through the spine in child's pose. And this is a good resting pose. So if you ever want to rest between your poses, you go for child's pose. Okay, the next pose that we're going to go into is dolphin pose. So we start off on our knees again, clasp our hands together, and we're rocking back and forth, just staying on our knees, rocking back and forth across our hands. Exhaling, coming forward, inhaling, coming back. Just like a dolphin. And please feel free to make dolphin sound. So all those click, 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 clicks that dolphins make, when we're doing the different poses, it's always nice to make the sounds as well. And then I want you to imagine those dolphins swimming through the sea. And then all of a sudden, those dolphins, they love to play and they want to take a jump out of the sea. So we tuck under our toes. And on the next exhalation, we push up through and come back down. So imagine you're jumping out of the water, just like those dolphins. One more here. And then we take the knees nice and wide, bring the big toes together again, stretch out those arms, and we're back into child's pose. Okay. Next pose we have is one of the dog poses. So there's two main dog poses in yoga, and the first one we're going to do is downward dog. So you may have heard of it before. It's quite a common pose to do. Starting on our knees again. Again, this time we'll take those hands right out in front. Think again of those starfish fingers, spreading them nice and wide, sucking you down into the mat, giving you a nice firm base through the hands. Roll those shoulders back and down, tuck under the toes. And as we inhale, we're lifting through the back of the knees and coming up into downward dog. So we're like in an upside down V position. And this is lovely. Really move around in this pose. So move from side to side. Lengthen through the backs of those legs. Open up through the backs of the knees. Stretch through the backs of the legs. Release the chest and the head between the shoulders. Really move around. And just like those dogs do, how they love wagging their tails. If you want to wag your tail, wag your tail. If you want to lift an arm up, then lift an arm up. Remember, if you're going to lift one, lift the other one as well. And then we can find the stillness in the pose. Keeping those starfish fingers spread wide. Opening through the backs of the knees. And then again, as we exhale, we're coming down onto our knees. Take them nice and wide. Big toes together. Back into child's pose. Okay. So, excuse me. Our next pose is upward facing dog. So the second of the dog poses. So it's the opposite way around to where we're doing down dog. I'm going to do it this way for upward dog. Hands out in front. We come down onto our fronts. Take those hands in front. Spread those starfish fingers nice and wide again. And then we inhale. We're lifting up. Roll those shoulders back and down. And then if it's available to us, we're pressing down through the tops of our feet and bringing those knees away from the floor. Lifting that head slightly, opening through the chest, rolling the shoulders back and down. Just like when your dog has a nice stretch in the morning. And in this pose, we can add something else as well. So I'm just going to face towards you so you can see this. So we're going to add into our upward dogs, we're going to add another pose, lion breath pose. So with lion breath pose, we get to open our eyes really wide. And as we're breathing out, we take a nice inhalation first. We breathe in first. And then as we breathe out, we extend that tongue all the way out. Take the tip of your tongue all the way down to your chin and open that mouth as you breathe out. Keep the eyes wide open. So let's do it again. Breathing in and then breathing out. Just think of being a lion. Let's do it one more time. A nice inhaling, breathing in, and then as you breathe out through the mouth. Lovely. And then let's come straight back again into child's pose. Hands out in front, spread those fingers nice and wide. And just enjoy being in child's pose. Okay, so next pose we're going to do is a pose called Dragonfly Pose. So with Dragonfly Pose, we're back down on our front again. Hands down either side. Okay, and we're lifting this right leg all the way up. And then we're putting that left foot underneath that right knee. And just lifting the head slightly. Just like a dragonfly. Lifting, you can feel it through the legs, through the back. And then as we exhale, taking that left foot away from underneath the right knee, coming back down. And then let's do the other side. No expectation that both sides are going to be the same. They're bound to be different. So we're inhaling, lifting this left leg up. Right foot goes underneath that left knee. There we are, Dragonfly Pose. And then exhale, coming back down. Coming straight back into child's pose. Lovely. Okay, then from child's pose, let's tuck under those toes, come back into down dog, and we're walking those feet in toward the hands and just hanging out here, allowing the body to hang over the legs. And then just like a rag doll, we're gently, gently, gently coming up slowly, slowly, slowly to our feet. Lovely. Okay, so the next pose we're going to do is a pose called Flamingo Pose. So this is a standing pose that involves some balance as well. So what I like to do when we do balancing poses is to take a little step forward, spread those toes, those yoga toes, nice and wide, and spread them into the mat. And we're starting with our left leg, left foot forward first. So we're taking that left leg and left foot forward, spreading it nice and wide, deep into the mat, giving us a nice firm base. And then we're moving forward with a little bend in that left knee. We're lifting up that right leg and taking a hold of that right leg. There's our balance. Okay, then we can inhale, take that left arm up above, and there we are, just like flamingos. Lengthening through the spine, all the way through the crown of that head. Remember that golden thread? You can feel it through the front of the thigh on that lifted leg. And now when you see flamingos stood on one leg, you know exactly how they're doing. Okay, then we exhale, let that right leg down, take a little step back again, shake both those legs off, and this time we're going on to the right side. And your balance might be completely different from one side to the other. So taking that right foot, spread those toes nice and wide, spread those feet into the mat, stepping forward, a little bend in that right knee, and then we're catching that left leg behind. Oh, try not to wobble. Be careful. Oh, there's my wobble. Just enjoy the wobble. Just go with it. And then inhaling. Oh, that right hand goes above. I'm not so good on my right leg as I am on my left. Whoa! Today, on my right leg, whoa, and I come down. That's okay to come down. We can't expect to be the same on both sides. So just allow that to happen. Okay, so that's Flamingo Pose. Okay, and then the last pose we're going to go into is a pose called Fish Pose. So we come down onto our backs for that, and we place our hands just underneath our sit bones, and we come down onto our elbows, and then we open through the chest. Don't take the head all the way back, just take the face up towards the sky above you, and we're nice and open through that chest. Fish pose. We take a couple of breaths here. And then we come down to the best part of yoga. Take our arms away and we lie down on the mats. Make sure the back of your head is on the mat. Arms just by the side of the body, a little gap. Palms of the hands facing up toward the ceiling. And we relax through the whole body. Closing the eyes. Just tuning into our body. Listening to what our body is telling us. And we just stay there with our eyes closed, breathing, focusing on every out breath you take through your nose. And just allowing it to relax and lengthen. Allowing your whole body, with every time you breathe out, allowing your body to relax just a little bit more. Try not to wiggle those fingers and toes. Just allow them to relax and trying to find stillness lying there on the mat. Just focusing on your breath. Keeping the eyes closed. Just enjoying laying down and relaxing into your mat. Allowing every time you breathe out to help you relax just that little bit more. And if you feel any tension in the body, if you feel anything that you have to move, then just seeing if you can just breathe out and let that go. Staying nice and still. So our relaxation time in our yoga practice is as important, if not more important, than the whole of our practice. It gives us a chance to just listen to our bodies. You know, our bodies send us these messages. They give us these different sensations all the time. So we're just listening to that in our body, using our breath to help us listen to ourselves. Giving us a little bit of time to just be with ourselves. Staying nice and still. And if you find your mind just wandering off, just allow it to wander off. And when you catch it again, just acknowledging that your mind has gone off with some thoughts. It might be that you're meeting some friends later or whatever it might be. What you're having for lunch or dinner, it can be anything. And allow that to happen and just acknowledge it when it does happen and then come back to giving all your focus to your breathing. Especially that every time you breathe out and just allowing that to relax. So as your breath is nice and relaxed, so too your body is nice and relaxed and you can sink deeper into that mat. Okay, so staying lying down until I say to come up to sitting. Okay, so gently now wiggle through those fingers and those toes, put some movement through those fingers and those toes. And then nice and gently, bring your knees into your chest. Take a hold of your knees and give yourself a little gentle rock from side to side. Okay, and then when you've massaged out the bottom of that back, then you can rock all the way over to your right and give yourself a big kutch. Say thank you to yourself for bringing yourself to yoga, for doing yoga. If you've done it as a family, even better. I once did a week with Taftswell Primary School, and all the children in the primary school, all their mums and dads came along during the week, and we did this big practice all week with all the mums and dads and the children practicing together. And we had such a fun time. It was such a good time had by all. So if it's mums and dads out there and you're watching your child doing this yoga, then next time get on the mat with them and start having some fun together. Okay, so we finish off by saying namaste, saying thank you to one another. Okay, so bringing the hands together and back into Anjali Mudra again, prayer position, and we bow towards one another and we say namaste, namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any interest in yoga at all, please go to Google my business, At Her Lotus Feet, and Instagram, and follow on there, or go to Facebook and like my Facebook page, or go to the website. If you've got any questions about yoga, if I can't answer you, I'll point you in the right direction to somebody that can. If you want to do some online yoga classes, I've got all online yoga classes going through the website at herlotusfeet.com. There's a very easy 3-step guide to starting yoga online with me. And there's all kinds of different yoga classes. And the beauty is that you can do it from the comfort, and most importantly, seeing as we've experienced lockdown this year and we don't know if it's going to happen again, from the safety of your own home as well. So that if we do have to go into lockdown again, you're already one step ahead. So please drop into the website, Facebook, like it, Instagram and Google my business, follow on there and get in touch, make contact, say hello. Even if you just want to say hello and ask any questions you have about yoga, just ask me. Okay. Namaste. Thank you once again. And thank Pride Cymru 2020 for giving me this opportunity to share yoga with people. It's been a real honor and a real privilege. Thank you, thank you, thank you.